Evening, good evening, good evening. This is the Minister M.L. Kimble coming to you live. And we're going to do something a little different tonight. I'm not going to do a Bible study tonight. I'm really going to do a quick review, what a reaction review video, whatever you want to call it. One thing I've learned over the years is although I may disagree with someone or somebody may have a different thought when it comes down to something that I may feel or they may feel, I've always been the person, show me. Show me. Don't tell me anything. Show me. And I've studied out this so-called Book of Mormon. I want to say about 2 years ago, I not only read the whole entire book, but then I also did a deep study into the history of where the Book of Mormon originates from, as well as the founder of the Church of Latter-day Saints. And we're just going to talk about that a little bit tonight. I'm going to pull up some of the things that I was able to study out myself and read some of this information to you, because it's so easy to be bamboozled in these last days and twisted in every wind and doctrine. But we cannot lose sight of the fact that Moses even said that we are not supposed to add, take. And so I have a problem with all of these different books and different philosophies and prophecies and all of that. The Most High did not need to put his words in 15,000 books to speak to his people. That's the first thing. Second thing is, when you start getting it out of this book and getting it out of this book and getting it out of this book, then you become bamboozled. And so I, as a leader, am not going to sit back and allow people to be bamboozled any longer. I went the extra mile. I went the further steps, took the further steps that needed to be taken. And I've studied out what I show you. I don't bring you anything that we cannot take a look at and study out. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the history of the Book of Mormon. Now, listen, Wikipedia is not a reputable source, because it can be, anybody can use Wikipedia. Anybody can put anything down and it be, categorized in Wikipedia. So we're going to look at something else other than Wikipedia today, because I just don't want to hear anybody saying, oh, it's Wikipedia and oh, it's not legitimate. I don't want to hear that. The first thing we're going to look at is the Book of Mormon and the history. The question was posed. I heard that the Mormon Church teaches racist views, but a Mormon I know told me that this isn't true. What's the story? General question. Answer. Now, this is the answer recorded by the Church of Latter-day Saints. So once again, you tell me all day long that this is our records and that's our records. Isaiah's our records. Jeremiah's our records. Malachi's our records. Micah's our records. What in the world, if you can't get the Most High's plans for his people out of even just the prophets, you need to go to somebody else or some other thought over here. And that's what's wrong with the church today. That's why we got 75 different denominations. Because somebody said this and somebody said that and somebody said that. What about what the prophet said? What about what the Most High said through his prophets? There was a day where that was all we needed. Now all of a sudden, oh, it's not enough because some of it's over here and some of it's over here. And I don't need to read 15 books to see what the people of the past did. I don't need to read 15 books to see that my ancestors were hard-headed and were put into bondage because of their disobedience. I don't need to read 15 books to see that the Most High says you're punished for disobedience, consequences for disobedience. I don't need 15 books to see that. I can read that right in the books that we have. When you start giving me 15,000 thoughts, feelings, and no. Because the history is right in our face. You can look it up. Anybody can Google it. Now you're telling me Google's a lie? If this is our records, then show me where it's our records. If you can't show me in scripture where this is our records in scripture, stop it. I'm not going off of what you think. Answer. Like many people of his period, Joseph Smith, the founder of Mormonism. You realize that they have it in the caption when you look at the Book of Mormon, another testament of Jesus Christ? I thought that we weren't serving Jesus. So how are you going to give me a book that says it's a testament of him, but then in the next breath tell me it's our records? Stop playing with me. Wasn't born yesterday. Make it make sense. The founder of Mormonism harbored racist views. So you're telling me that if Wikipedia is lying, well, then this site's lying too? Every site that says that it was a racist book is lying, and you're the only one that's right? No. New York, where he grew up, was still a slave state at that time, in an environment where Negro slavery was tolerated. It was easy for Smith to look down on Black people, and his disdain for them was incorporated as doctrine into the Mormon scriptures that he allegedly translated. So the scam allegedly translated another testament of what our records. You want me to tell you what he really did? He stole our book and stole our stories and put it in his book and told us that this is our records. Trying to make you believe that somehow that the children of Israel were wrapped up in this scam when the book, he clearly has racist views in this book. For example, many passages in the Book of Mormon speak of dark skin as a curse for sins. That's not made up. That's in the book. So if you're telling me that this is our records, then why is he saying that dark skin is a curse as opposed to the white and delightsome appearance of the righteous? You want to tell me again that these are our records? I can't receive it. A passage in the book of Abraham that spoke of the Egyptian pharaohs as having Negro ancestry, thereby disqualifying them from God's priesthood. First of all, I don't serve God. You serve God, then you can go ahead and read the Book of Mormon. Was used by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to deny the Mormon priesthood and temple privileges to anyone with any amount of Negro ancestry. So they didn't want any piece of anybody at all to be involved in the priesthood of the Mormon Church that had any heritage of Negro people like me. And you want me to sit here like I'm a 2-year-old and receive that this is our records? Did you just wake up yesterday? Are you living under a rock? What type of a scam is that? These passages in Mormon scripture served as the basis for every Mormon prophet since Smith to teach that blacks were cursed for their supposed sins before earthly birth. I want to read that again. These passages in Mormon scripture served as the basis for every Mormon prophet since Smith to teach that blacks were cursed for their supposed sins before earthly birth. And you're going to sit here and try to convince me that I got to read this racist piece of garbage? You're going to tell me that this is my record and I'm supposed to accept this. I don't need to read this garbage to see what happened to his people. He gave us enough of it in our book. Why do I have to read another testament? Why? Shall I tell you the law of God in regard to the African race? If the white man who belongs to the chosen seed mixes his blood with the seed of Cain, the penalty under the law of God is death on the spot. This will always be so. This is Brigham Young, the guy that fell in place after Joseph Smith. So his protege, so to speak, that's what he said about Negro people. Throughout the civil rights movement in the 1950s and 1960s, Mormon apostles continued to teach the LDS doctrine on people with African ancestry and other persons of color. Mark E. Peterson asserted that people are born black because of their inadequate performance in the pre-existence. This is the history of this garbage. I hope you're paying attention. This is your Mormon scam right here. I hope you're paying attention. Bruce R. McConaughey maintained Negroes are not equal with other races in spiritual matters, and that this is God's law, not man's. The future prophet Spencer W. Kimble claimed that in just 15 years from the time of their conversion, he had seen Indian people who accepted the Mormon gospel become white and delightsome. But the civil rights movement had its effect on the LDS church. Black leaders urged boycotts of the state of Utah and all Mormon Tabernacle choir products. The NAACP brought discrimination charges against the Utah Boy Scouts for prohibiting a black member from assuming a senior patrol position. College athletes refused to play Brigham Young University team. Groups protested at the church's twice yearly general conferences in Salt Lake City. Mormon leadership finally acknowledged that many, perhaps most of the converts to the church in Brazil had some degree of black ancestry. I wonder why. Because everybody started off black. Study it out. While their donations helped build the Sao Paulo temple, they were not permitted to attend it. So wait a minute. Look at the scam. Look at the scam. So they were able to donate to the scam, but they couldn't attend because they had Negro blood in them. Are you kidding me? And I'm supposed to sit back here and believe somehow that this is not built upon racism. Like I said before, in these last days, you better be careful that you are not bamboozled with every wind and doctrine. You don't need to read 25,000 books to realize what they did in the past. Understand that when you read these books, you better understand why his people were put in that position. You don't believe me? Let me get my phone out here so then I can show you. Because the reality of it is, I'm so sick and tired of people that it's like we want to somehow skate over the requirement to live right. We want to skate over that and somehow when you tell somebody that you got to live a certain way, it's almost like we point our finger back. Well, but they did this to us. But they did this to us. But they did this and they did this and they did that. What about what you're doing? What about the adultery that you're committing against your spouse? What about the pork you keep shoving down your stomach, even though you know the Most High condemned it? What about all of the statutes and commands that Moses commanded before he died? Are you going to sit here and tell me that none of that applies now? I can't receive the scam. I can't receive that scam. You say whatever you want to say, but I cannot receive that scam. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to Deuteronomy, and I'm going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 32. Okay? Let's see here. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 16 says, they provoked him to jealousy with strange gods, with abominations, provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils, not to Yahuwah, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. Of the rock they begat you, you are unmindful and have forgotten Yahuwah that formed you. And when Yah saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. For they are a very forward generation, children in whom is no faith. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not Yah. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities. And I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. For a fire is kindled in my anger, and shall burn unto the lowest Sheol, hail, and shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations of the mountains. I said I would scatter them into corners. I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. For they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them. Oh, that they were wise, that they understood this, that they would consider their latter end. To me belongs vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time. For the day of their calamity is at hand, and the things that shall come upon them make haste. For Yahuwah shall judge his people and sign for his servants when he sees that their power is gone and there is none shut up or left. See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me. I kill, I make alive, I wound, and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. So when we don't want to accept the fact that there's judgment and there's consequence for disobedience, woe unto you. Don't be bamboozled by every wind and doctrine. Stick to what you know. Get all of that in your spirit and be able to regurgitate that first before you start. Why can't a little here and a little there mean the books they took out? Why can't it be, Baruch, Ezra, all of those books? That can mean little here. That doesn't mean I got to go read this and I got to go read that and I got to go read that and I got to go read that. All to get some kind of a picture of what the Most High is trying to say. That means I don't have a real relationship with him. Where's my discernment spirit? Do not be bamboozled. Hear me when I say it. We're in the last days. And every single Tom, Dick, and Harry that comes to you with something, you better line it up with the scripture. And you better see if it is from the Most High Yah. Please like, share, comment. Don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, be blessed on purpose.